Today, we're digging into a story that's got it all: power, incredible wealth, and a very, very suspicious death on a dark highway. This is about the final, mysterious hours of a true Kenyan political kingmaker, Cyrus Jirongo. So here's what we know for sure. It's the middle of the night, around 3 a.m., and Cyrus Jirongo, a guy who's been a major player in Kenyan politics for more than 30 years, is declared dead at the scene of a car crash. Simple, right? Tragic, but simple. Well, not so fast. It took almost no time at all for the questions to start flying, casting this thick fog of suspicion over the whole official story. Was it just a horrible accident, or was it something much, much darker? You know, the more you dig into this, the more that official story just completely falls apart.
Okay, so to really get why his death caused such an uproar, you first have to understand the man himself. Cyrus Jirongo, he wasn't your average politician, not even close. This guy was larger than life, a genuine kingmaker who absolutely exploded onto the political scene back in the early 90s. And this is where his story really kicks off. YK92, Jirongo was the chairman of this powerhouse of a youth movement, and their one job? Make sure President Moi won the election. And how'd they do it? They unleashed a flood of cash like nobody had ever seen before. And Jirongo, he was the guy turning on the faucet. From that point on, his career was just a total roller coaster. I mean, one minute he's in parliament, the next he's out, then he's a government minister. He even ran for president. He was the ultimate political survivor, always somehow in the mix, always making himself relevant.
But if you really want to get to the heart of the Jirongo legend, there's just one number you need to know: 500. And trust me, it wasn't just a number. It became his whole identity, a symbol of his almost unbelievable wealth. So get this. Back in '92, the central bank brings out a brand new 500 shilling note. And almost overnight, people start calling it a Jirongo. Why? Simple. Because he was the one handing them out everywhere. He was dishing out stacks of these fresh new bills so freely that his name literally became a synonym for money. And listen to what a close friend once said about him. His generosity was just legendary. This was a guy who made and lost fortunes like it was nothing. Totally baffling people. Sharing millions was as easy for him as sharing a meal. He was a man of absolute extremes. All right, so let's get back to the night he died. How did the official story take shape? Well, after the crash, the authorities came out with a very clinical, very fact-based conclusion, all resting on the postmortem report.
And that autopsy report, man, it was brutal. It listed these just horrific injuries. We're talking multiple fractures, a crushed chest, a perforated heart, a severed spinal cord. The level of trauma was absolutely catastrophic.
So the pathologists all came to the same conclusion. He died from massive injuries that were totally consistent with a high-speed car crash. The official ruling? Death by misadventure. So case closed, right? Yeah, not even close. Because this is the exact moment where the official story starts to completely fall apart. The closer his friends, family, and even investigators looked, the more these nagging, troubling questions started to pop up. And they cast some serious doubt on the whole accident theory. Okay, puzzle piece number 1, the location. His friends are clear. He left a meeting in Karen around 11:30 at night, heading home to Kigiri. That's a pretty straightforward drive across town. So can someone please explain how he ends up dead, hours later, miles and miles off course, on the highway to Nakuru, and apparently heading back toward the city? It makes absolutely no sense. Then you have the crash itself. The police report says his car rammed into a bus. Simple enough. But then there's the security guard, supposedly the only eyewitness, and his story is, well, it's bizarre. He says Jirongo pulled out of a gas station and gunned it, accelerating directly into the path of this bus on a road that was otherwise totally empty. And here is a big one, a real head-scratcher. His car was a newish Mercedes-Benz loaded with 12 airbags. With a kind of catastrophic impact that the autopsy described, how is it possible that not a single one of those airbags went off? For investigators, that's not just a red flag, it's a giant, flashing neon sign. People who know these kinds of scenes, lawyers, journalists, they also pointed out something super weird. Normally, a fatal crash, especially one involving someone this famous, would be swarming with people. It would be chaotic. But the reports from that night describe the scene as eerily quiet, deserted. So the question is, where was everybody? One lawyer who was following the case really summed it all up. He looked at all these inconsistencies, the wrong route, the weird eyewitness story, the airbags that didn't deploy, the strangely empty scene, and he basically said, on a scale of 1 to 10, the chance this was a real accident, maybe a 3. That's a 70% chance of foul play. So with all these questions hanging in the air, the calls for the truth started getting louder and louder. And it wasn't just coming from his family. We're talking about the highest levels of government. And even his own community, which decided to turn to its own ancient traditions to find justice.
And yeah, these calls came from the very top. Just listen to Moses Wetangula. He's the Speaker of the National Assembly and was one of Jirongo's best friends. He was actually with him just hours before he died. He said the news hit him like a missile, and he went public, demanding that the investigation keep going until everyone was satisfied. But as the official investigations seemed to go nowhere, his community, the Tiriki clan, decided to take matters into their own hands, in a way. They were so convinced it was foul play that during the burial, they performed this ancient ritual. They placed a lit torch right inside his casket.
And the belief behind this ritual is incredibly powerful. The idea is that when that torch finally burns out deep inside the grave, the life of whoever is responsible for the death will also be snuffed out. It's their way of telling the world, in the most solemn way possible, this was no accident, he was murdered.
And that's where we're left, with this huge, lingering question. Cyrus Jirongo lived his entire life in the spotlight. It was loud, it was public, it was controversial. So how is it possible that the truth about his sudden, violent death might just stay in the shadows forever? The official story tells you one thing, but all the evidence, all the unanswered questions, and a community's sacred ritual, they're all pointing somewhere else entirely.